This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
All right, so quick Google on the ABS system. I was way off. So far, there have been 6,040 attempts at a challenge, all right? And the decision by the umpire has been overturned 53% of the time.
So they've been wrong.
Yeah.
The players have been right more.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Yeah, so the overturn was 3,217. And the confirmed were 2,823 out of the 6,040. Okay, so 53%.
Way off.
I was way off. Yeah. The batters have been overturned 1,345 times. They've been confirmed 1,465 times. So they've had 2,810 attempts. So they were at 48%, the batters. So the umpires have been 52% of the right with the batters. And the pitchers have had 1,872 overturned and 1,358 confirmed. And it was interesting because in the game last night, one of the Yankee pitchers was talking about, John Smoltz asked him if he'd challenged it all, and he said he had challenged once and he'd gotten it wrong, and so he said rookie mistake. And they were talking about that it's harder than to see that from that distance, 60 feet 2 inches, than the batters. But it looks like the pitchers have done actually a pretty good job of being able to spot that from the mound.
It's good.
And I've been surprised sometimes at how quickly some of these challenges take place. Like there was a Ranger game. It was the first pitch of the game, and the guy challenged it. It's like the first pitch. It's like, what are you doing, man? You only get a couple of these. You would think that you'd hold them in your back pocket for a little bit, but he didn't want to waste it at all.
Mm-hmm.
60 feet 6 inches. Okay, whatever. 60 feet 2, 60 feet 6. I mean, what's 4 inches? This Chuck just spouts lies as truth. Glad I don't believe much he says. Well, thanks for listening.
I would have guessed that the umpires had been right more than 50% of the games that I watch. It feels like they're right more times than not. I wouldn't have guessed 90%, but I would have guessed that they were right the majority of the time. So I also was wrong on that.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the those are the true numbers for you. So I'm just here to entertain and juggle and eat fire and stuff like that. That's really what
eat fire.
Yeah. Have you ever seen those guys do that? I mean, I've seen somebody eat fire. It always blows me away. It's like, how do you not burn your throat?
I've been to a circus, so yeah. I think I've seen that.
And then you come here every day too, which
so now I'm part of the circus.
You sometimes feel like that it is a bit of a circus when it's all said and done, right? Mm-hmm. Goodness. All right, we'll take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Hey, the British Open, or as they like to say over there, the Open, begins tomorrow. And you've got 3 Red Raiders, including a current one, playing, in this thing. Ludwig Ober will make his 3rd appearance. He's a top 10 golfer. He's going to tee off at 9:04 tomorrow, our time. Baird Scogan, who played at Texas Tech from 2020 to 2024, is also playing. And then Tim Wiedemeyer, who is a current golfer for Coach Greg Sands, is going to play as well. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. Those guys to root for.
I was watching David Collier's Sports last night, and he said the 3 of them got to play a practice round together, and Greg Sands, the Tech golf coach, is over there as well.
Awesome.
I don't know what he's I mean, guess he's just kind of watching. I don't know if he can, talk to his current guy at all about, hey, bring your club back just a little bit more, or the velocity going through is really good. Okay.
Not sure.
This tournament will take place at Royal Birkdale Golf Club, and it's the 154th edition of the Open Championship. Let's see here. Don't you have to consider...
Is that appointment television for you? This weekend?
We're traveling this weekend.
If you were home, is that something?
Absolutely, on Sunday it is. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm certainly paying attention to it, and the British Open has always been attractive because of just the time slot, because it's on early in the morning and doesn't necessarily interfere with stuff later on in the day, because it can finish. It's not like finishing at 7 o'clock at night or 6 o'clock at night. But yeah, I've always enjoyed the Open Championship.
You're mocking it as you say that.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to be a little British for you.
A little British.
What's
name?
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Don't you have to consider the pitches that aren't reviewed? In other words, those would be considered correct calls, right? Yeah, sure. That's.
Yeah, just referring to the ones that are challenged.
Yeah, it's just. But I don't know. It seemed to me like that was a more accurate than.
Who do you? I guess it depends on what team you're rooting for.
Mm-hmm.
But I find myself, if I'm watching a game that it's not my favorite team or a team, that I'm rooting for, I find myself rooting for the umpires whenever they get challenged.
Yeah, I think. Okay.
It's like somebody's questioning them,
mm-hmm.
and I want them to be right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm sympathetic towards the umpires, but
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just find myself rooting every time it's challenged that, hey, I hope this goes the way of the umpire.
Yeah. As far as the Rangers are concerned, they have challenged 85 times. They have won 38. They have lost 47. See, and I would have.
Seems like that's not a very good percentage.
I know and I feel like I would have. The Astros have challenged 114 times. They've won 70 of them and lost 44.
Oh, much better eyesight on that.
Yeah,
team.
they're at the top of the big leagues for that.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is Wednesday, July the 15th, 2026. It is also St. Swithin's Day. More on that in a moment. But here is Jeff McGuire with this day in sports history.
Not for me, it won't be. 1909. Detroit's future Baseball Hall of Fame center fielder Ty Cobb hits 2 inside the park home runs to lead the Tigers to a sweep of the Washington Senators 9-5 and 7-0.
2 in one game?
I don't know if it's 2 in one game or 2 in the doubleheader.
I don't care. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's entertainment, Chuck. Not 27 strikeouts out of 54 outs.
54 outs, right.
That's half.
Half. Now it's 50%.
That's right. Entertainment. 2 inside the park home runs in one day.
Yeah.
This is also, I think, back when there wasn't a back fence. So
it just kept rolling?
It just kept rolling. Like they were still figuring some things out.
That's the way it was on our high school field. In center and right field, it could just roll forever. Left field, there was a line on the hill that if you hit it past. But center and right field, they could roll and roll and roll for days. So you could have home runs that way. Mm-hmm. I couldn't.
No. Someone with talent could have. Yes, no, I get it. 1921. New York Yankees slugger Babe Ruth ties Major League Baseball's record of 138 career home runs, held by Roger Connor since 1895. In a 7-2 win over the St. Louis Browns at Sportsman Park in St. Louis. He would hit a few more.
So he was the guy that was like the first home run leader?
Yes.
Roger Connors. Never heard of the name.
Never had heard of
Connor.
it.
No S.
Connor.
No,
okay. Roger Connor.
Okay.
had 138 career home runs. Babe Ruth tied him on this day.
Okay.
1960, Baltimore's future Hall of Fame third baseman Brooks Robinson goes 5 for 5, including the cycle, in an Orioles 5-2 win over the White Sox.
Again, Chuck, that's entertainment.
Okay.
I would also say that his glove is where doubles went to die for everybody.
They called him the human vacuum cleaner, right?
That's a good nickname.
Yeah.
Very apropos for that individual, yes. 1973, California Angel Nolan Ryan's pitches his second no-hitter, defeated the Detroit Tigers 6-0. And in 2011, former Red Raider Josh Tomlin gets the win after going 5 innings, walking 1, and surrendering 6 hits in a 6-5 Indians victory over the Red Sox. Because it is the third Wednesday in July,
Okay.
it's National Hot Dog Day. It's also Gummy Worm Day and Tapioca Pudding Day.
So is it like every third Wednesday of every month, it's National Hot Dog Day?
No, it's the third Wednesday in July is National Hot Dog Day.
You feel like it should be July the 4th.
I would put it there. I would put apple pie there, probably first. Hot dog's a very close second.
Okay.
Because nothing's more American than apple pie.
Yeah, but I mean, how many of us are eating apple pie on July 4th? Is that
I will eat apple pie on
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but
usually
I think
it's
of
ice cream. Yeah.
I think of picnicking or grilling and all that kind of stuff. I don't think of a pie.
Yeah.
Eating a pie.
Yeah. No pie.
I would think more of a some sort of ice cream for your dessert, not an apple
Homemade
pie.
ice cream, right?
So but I get your point about it being American.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Gabriel Iglesias, who is 50. He's fluffy, not fat. Damian Lillard is 36. Forrest Whitaker, 65. Scott Foley, 54. Brian Austin Green is 53. And Adam Savage is 59.
59. Okay.
And on this day in 1965, the unmanned spacecraft Mariner 4 passes over Mars at an altitude of 6,000 feet and sends back to Earth the first close-up images of the red planet. And that is this day in sports history.
All right. And on this day in 971 AD, okay, Anglo-Saxon Bishop of Winchester was St. Swithin, had requested a humble outdoor burial, but his remains were moved inside to the cathedral. It sparked a 40-day storm. According to tradition, the weather on St. Swithin's Day, which is today, dictates the pattern for the rest of the summer. The famous old rhyme goes, St. Swithin's Day, if thou dost reign, for 40 days it will remain. St. Swithin's Day, if thou be fair, for 40 days 'twill rain no more.
Doesn't rhyme.
In reality, weather records show there has never been a consecutive 40-day stretch of rain or sunshine following July 15th. However, the date frequently aligns with midsummer shifts in the jet stream, which can result in longer patterns of unsettled summer weather. I gave one local meteorologist this tip, and he said that's not science. St. Swithin's Day was his response.
Do you believe in that at all?
No, but it's a lot of fun. St. Swithin's Day. It just reminded me of an old Bob Newhart show where Carol, the receptionist, was listing all the days off that she wanted in her demands to Dr. Jerry Robinson, the dentist, and Dr. Hartley, and Dr. Robinson said back to the receptionist Carol, and I suppose you want St. Swithin's Day off too. I believe that she said yes.
I never heard of it until this show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, that's part of the value of the show. And that's why this person who 13 minutes ago texted on the Yates Flooring Center chat line, and you probably ask yourself this question, why do I keep doing this to myself? And I'm assuming it's listening to us or me.
Because he's entertained.
Well, that's the goal. I mean, that's the goal. You walk away with a nugget, like you could. And today it's supposed to rain. Okay, so I don't know about the next 39 days after today, but today it's supposed to rain. Wouldn't that be something if it rained for 40 straight days?
No, I don't think we would enjoy that.
That would be something.
It would be something, but it wouldn't be something good.
Yeah, it would be something. Okay.
I mean, yes, we all like rain.
Right.
Love walking in the neighborhood now and seeing everybody with green grass. Everybody's lawn is the best it's ever been.
I'm not. Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not in that. I'm not in that boat yet.
Well,
let's see.
Get your paddles out.
Crazy. I asked Chuck about a legitimate Texas Tech sports question, and Chuck talks about Saint Blah Blah Day. Dementia at its best. His question was this. Chuck, how do you feel about the 5 for 5? Does D5 play as a Red Raider in your opinion, sir? I'll just say this. I think if the 5 for 5 passes and the guys that had exhausted their eligibility at the end of last year, this past basketball season, if they're allowed to play and the court's rulings stay, I think Darion Williams is going to come back and play for Texas Tech. That's my bold statement on this, the 15th day of July 2026, St. Swithin's Day. I think that, and I don't know, but I just think that could be a possibility still. But I think a lot has to happen. One of which is the 5 for 5 for the guys that just exhausted their eligibility have to stay alive.
Would it be 5 for 5 for them?
Would be,
since they're before that,
the 4 for
like 5 for 6.
5 for 6, yeah, right. Something like that, yeah.
It's not 5 for 5 for them, right?
Well, I mean, they would still have. They would have completed their eligibility of 4. They wouldn't have had a redshirt year. They would have had to have had an open year. Couldn't have had a medical redshirt year or anything along those lines.
So if one of them had a red shirt year, then they won't get the 5 for 5.
Right.
Can they still get the $5 footlong, though? That's what we need to know.
I would be worried about our program if that's what we felt like we needed to do.
And I'm just making a prediction. So.
Yep. And I'm just stating an opinion.
Stating an opinion. I got you.
And I'm just wishing for a $5 footlong again.
Okay, and that's also allowed.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
7:15 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Good morning. Reminder, End of the Bench at 9 this morning. Dan Patrick at 9 this morning. End of the Bench on 100.7 The Score. Mr. Patrick here on Double T 97.3. Don't forget the bottom line as well at high noon today. You can have a little lunch and watch the fellas as they kick it around today from noon until 3, and then Tech Talk this afternoon. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line off the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. Am I the only one that finds it odd that Eric Morris being able to lure a large number of guys from North Texas is being viewed as a reason they are going to have success?
I particularly am right there with you. That's the reason I'm like, hey, I think they'll be better, and I think he's a good coach. But to act like they're going to be, in the top third of the league when everybody they brought is, guys that were, or the majority of the guys, or North Texas guys.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think, if
it's a fair question.
Yes, yeah. If Oklahoma State had signed all of those guys 2 years ago, we wouldn't be looking at their class and saying, hey, best class in the Big 12 Conference, right? We wouldn't.
Yeah.
But he obviously did great things with those guys. Mastemaker looks like he's a guy that can be a good quarterback at just about any level. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we'll have to see. I don't, but I'm with the texter. So, no, you're not the only one.
So, would 6-6 be successful for him this year?
Yeah, I don't think it would be a failure.
How many games have they won the last 2 years?
Well, none in the Big 12.
So
that'd be
let's just assume that they get 3 wins in the Big 12, right? That would be the minimum they would need to make 6-6.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a successful season.
Yeah.
It's not a perfect season, but yeah. That's successful in year one.
Yeah, no, I think so. I mean, I think it's successful. I think that'd be something.
Okay, so just running through it quickly. Let's say they beat Tulsa 1-0, lose to Oregon 1-1. They should beat Murray State 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're going to play at West Virginia. I call it a toss-up. I mean, I'm going to take a loss there. 2-2. Home against Oklahoma State. I'll give them a win. 3-2. Excuse me, home against UCF. 3-2. On the road at Houston. 3-3. Home for Colorado. 4-3. On the road at Iowa State. I mean, I really don't know what Iowa State's going to be.
Is that a toss-up in your mind?
Yes, but I'll give them a win.
That's 5-3.
5-3.
Yeah.
At Kansas State, no. Home against Texas Tech, no. 5-5.
Mm-hmm.
At Arizona State, no. 5-6.
Mm-hmm.
Home for Kansas. There's your 6-6.
Yeah, there's your 6-6.
I think it's possible.
But it's not like you're not really beating any world beaters in that.
No.
But
you haven't beaten anybody.
I know. It's improvement,
including Tulsa last year.
Yeah, it's an improvement.
There would be nothing to poo-poo a 6-6 record from Oklahoma State this year.
All right.
Except they're a team that was racking up 10-win seasons year after year a few seasons ago.
Mm-hmm. But they're not now, and they haven't been in quite some time. So that's their
couple of seasons.
That's their challenge. Who's a team that you think that people haven't really seriously considered that should be considered, or do you think that the usual suspects of Texas Tech, BYU, and Houston now have been kind of beaten in everybody's brain that those are the teams of the biggest contenders? But is there somebody out there that we've kind of overlooked?
Win one Big 12 championship, all of a sudden we're the usual usual suspects.
I mean, the usual suspects of who people are talking about for this year.
I mean, I think it's fair to say we're the usual suspect right now. Arizona State.
Okay,
I think both of them will be good.
Mm-hmm. More Arizona State than Arizona, because Arizona, you would say, okay, who are they? Because they were not very good, then they were good, and so can they be consistent? You feel like that Arizona State's been relatively consistent.
Yeah, I think both of them will be good.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe TCU is a team that will be better maybe than what we think. I think that's a top 6-ish team in the Big 12. Yeah, and Utah, is everybody giving Utah credit? Because I think they'll be up there.
Yeah, no, I think Utah's been a little overlooked. I think the thing for them is, I mean, they retained a lot of their players. They just lost their head coach. Mm-hmm. And so
he was a good one.
And he was a good one, but how much of his culture kind of went with him and the culture of that program? Because it feels like that they still got a lot of bravado.
Yeah, I wouldn't guess that much.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like they've got a lot of bravado there in Utah and how they feel about things. It feels like, and I think I'm preaching to the choir here, but I think just in general, it feels like outside of us, without question, Texas Tech's the most hated team in the Big 12, right? Without question.
Yeah.
I mean, it's without question. Correct. Is TCU second on that list?
I mean, I think it depends who you're talking to.
Yeah, if you're talking to this fan base, it probably does, right? Mm-hmm. But more so than maybe the other schools, because the other schools just don't.
I don't know. Maybe it's Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Because Utah's pretty vocal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's Colorado because people can't stand all the love Deion gets.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact that they haven't been winning the last couple of years is, kind of diminished that a little bit.
Doesn't make me dislike him any less.
No, I understand that. I get you on that. But I mean, it feels like around these parts, TCU is like the bullseye right now.
Around these parts, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's that.
Yep.
We get this. Eric's teams at Oklahoma State should mirror Leach's teams at Tech. Lots and lots of ticket selling offense and whatever shows up defense. Ticket selling machine. Okay. Sooner Lubbock says the biggest question mark: how do you transition to big boy football? I think that's fair.
Yeah, and how will it? Right. Mm-hmm. I think I agree with the other texter who talked about, being similar to Leach's teams, because those teams on any given day were, if they had one of those days offensively, they had a chance to just plain outscore you and upset you. And I think Oklahoma State is kind of that team. That's kind of how I see them. Mm-hmm. I look at that matchup with the Red Raiders and think, man, they're going to be fired up, and that crowd's going to be fired up. And, if they have one of those days where their offense is just clicking and let's say you're just a little bit off on offense, you could be losing another one of those, 54, 52 games. But I really don't see this Texas Tech defense giving up those kind of points.
No, I don't.
Even if they have a good day, I don't think they're scoring, much past, high 30s or something.
I was going to say, you might talk me into, they score 28 and, if you get kind of bogged down a little bit or commit some turnovers and you lose 28 to 24 or something like that. That's kind of where I would be.
Yeah, I'm with you.
On something like that. Okay, 7:25. Jamie's question of the day is next this morning on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, we're sticking with Big 12 football today, guys.
Okay.
Pull out your list of Big 12 head coaches. And I want you to give me your top 5 in their ranked order.
Okay. It's funny because I had sent myself an email last night about the USA Today ranking of all 16 coaches, and you and I haven't discussed that. Okay, so...
And if Joey McGuire is outside your top 5, tell me where you rank him to.
Okay, he's not going to be outside my top 5. I feel like sometimes he doesn't get the credit that he deserves. I don't know that he's won, but he's certainly not outside the top 5. But he's pretty close. I'll look at it this way. I mean, I'll put him at number 1 just because before he got here, and people can say, okay, the checkbook came out, but years 1 and 2, the checkbook really wasn't out. It's been the last couple of years that the checkbook's been more out. But just the mere fact that his first year here, he got you above 500 in Big 12 play, to me was a huge statement. And the consistency and the ability to retain staff and build your brand and build your program. And we weren't a split fan base with Matt Wells, but we were a fan base. And so I'm going to put him at 1. I'm going to put Kenny Dillingham at number 2. I think he's I think he's a great coach, and I know that they went backwards a little bit last year, but man, he has made that a real deal there in Tempe with Arizona State, and they were really, really close to winning a big playoff game. So I'll put Dillingham at 2. I think Kalani Sitake. I continue to have respect for him and what he's done with his program. I think those are all 1, 2, and 3, and depending on where you are in the Big 12, you might put Sitake at 1 and Dillingham at 2 and McGuire at 3. I'm not putting Sonny Dykes at 4 like USA Today did, but I'm going to put Willie Fritz at 4 because I think he's proven himself as a head coach, not only at Tulane but what he did at Houston last year and where they are. I mean, you talk about a fan base that doesn't care. That's a fan base that doesn't care, but yet he's got that team believing that they can be a Big 12 champion and be a contender for the playoff race. So now we go to who's going to be number 5 on my list. I'm just going to stop right there at 4 because I don't think there's a 5th. I think I don't, Rich Rod's not done anything, and Aranda's not done anything, and Satterfield I don't have any respect for, and same thing with Dion, and Brent Brennan is up and down. I guess he would be my 5th if you had to, hold me accountable. I'll put Brent Brennan as number 5, but Leipold and Morris hasn't done anything yet, and Frost is Jimmy Rogers, more of a basketball coach than Iowa State football coach, and the other 2 guys, Morgan Scally and Colin Klein, they haven't really done anything yet either. So that's my 5.
Okay.
I've got McGuire at 1. Motivator of men is what the head coach needs to be. And Joey McGuire can get a crowd to run through a wall for him. Mm-hmm. I've got Satake as 2. A huge amount of respect for that man. And maybe that's moving him up in my rankings, but as a head coach, you have to be able to get respect from people that maybe aren't always on your side. I've got Willie Fritz at 3. I like, unfortunately, what he's done at Houston. I don't like that he's doing it at Houston, but I got to tip the cap to the man. He's coaching football well and getting good players at Houston. I'm going to say that again. This is at Houston football where they don't care and he's doing well.
I agree.
Like, you give the man some credit. I got Dillingham at 4, and I'm holding my nose on this at 5 for Lance Leopold. Because, much like at Houston, he's getting football to be relevant at Kansas. That's not an easy job. I don't like the man. I wish he would severely have been punished for what happened earlier this year. But for coaching football and getting a fan base to care about a sport that they haven't cared about in 40 years, he's doing something right.
Just one complaint there. You mispronounced his name, and it's really important. Normally, we mispronounce names on this show, and it's normal, and we just let it slide. But when your name has lie in it, and you do what he did, you got to say Leipold.
Leipold. Okay. Lance Leipold. Yeah.
When he handled himself the way he did, you have to emphasize the lie.
I just can't put him in a top 5 for what he did.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's earned the last name of Leipold.
Yeah. Nope, that's on me.
Okay. All right, so number 5 on my list, I am going to give Eric Morris the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say Eric Morris because I like what he's done elsewhere. Mm-hmm. I think when he gets the talent that he needs at Oklahoma State, and I think good, young coach, he should be able to recruit if they continue to get him money and the resources. I think he's going to do good things there. I think he's going to be a really good coach. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's almost like I don't have enough respect for so many of these guys who have proven they can't do it.
Yeah.
And I think Eric Morris has proven he can do it at lower levels at least. Let's see if he can do it at this level. So I'm putting him at number 5. I feel like it's too low on the list because he's done an awesome job. But I have Willie Fritz at number 4. I think he's done an amazing job at Houston. Number 3 on my list is Joey McGuire of Texas Tech. Obviously, he's done a great job as well. The resources factor in. Number 2 on my list, Kalani Sitake. Again, has done a great job with BYU. Hasn't gotten them over the hump, but has done a great job. And number 1 on my list is Kenny Dillingham. I mean, he took a team that was picked to finish 16th in the conference and won a conference championship. He's done a lot with a lot less, and they're getting the support that he needs, and so I think that he's going to continue to do a great job at Arizona State.
Okay. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line lists. Love how what Jamie can say in 100 words, Chuck can do in 100,000. You're welcome, I think.
That's what makes us the odd couple, right?
Right. Jamie, rank the top 5 coaches. Chuck, I'll give you 4. Yeah, well, right. I eventually got to a 5th, but...
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey, good morning. It is the Morning Drive on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We come to you, Jamie, Jeff, and I, from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line, Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. I saw this article in the Athletic last night, Jamie, and it's related to Major League Baseball and the Olympics. And I guess I missed this, and maybe we talked about it back in May, and maybe we didn't. I don't know. But apparently in May, there was a proposal that was sent from Major League Baseball to the union, saying that they wanted Major League Baseball players to play in the Olympics, but to face an effective suspension longer than 3 weeks if they are chosen to participate in the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, but skip without an approved excuse. So from as early as July 10th through August 3rd, 2028, players who choose not to play in the Summer Olympics would be on the restricted list without pay or service. This is according to The Athletic from a copy of the proposal that they received. Placement on the injury list would be technically an approved excuse, but with a wrinkle, such players would get pay and service time, but not be able to return to regular season action until after the same day, August the 3rd. Well, one, I didn't realize that the Major League Baseball players were still up for playing in the Olympics. I know that some of the guys want to. I didn't realize that was that big of a possibility. Yeah,
I didn't either.
The other thing
seems like they're going to have plenty of time to play in the Olympics.
Because you don't think that
because there'll be a work stoppage.
Be a work stoppage.
Won't be doing anything.
The work stoppage, I think, will be next year. But yeah, I get you. To accommodate the baseball portion of the Olympics, it's scheduled to be July 13th to the 19th. This is my question for you. The first half of the regular season for Major League Baseball in 2028 would wrap up July the 9th. The All-Star Game would then be played on July the 11th, most likely in San Francisco, and the regular season would resume on July the 21st. So, one, how do you feel about a break like that for all of Major League Baseball?
I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I could handle that.
Okay.
If that's allowing the players to go play in the Olympics.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be great. I think
fine. 10 days doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And by the way, we'll have all of those games going on to watch anyway, so it's not like we're going to be void of sports.
You talk about hitters, losing their timing and all that. Well, everybody's going to be doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's not an advantage for one team or another.
So the other thing is what they're also trying to do is keep people from skipping out if they're chosen to play. My thought on this would be, well, shouldn't you
who's punishing them for skipping out?
Major League Baseball.
Well, that's silly to me. They you can't make somebody do it.
Right. That's.
Are there people out there? Are there players out there though that are saying, "Hey, I don't want to do it"?
No. One of the spokesmen for the union says, in general, our players want to play in the Olympic. They're very patriotic. For them, it's special. We want them to have the opportunity. Having said that, we want to make sure they have things like travel and accommodations and things like that they deserve based on who they are. Somebody from LA 28 says, as reflected in our exchanges, we are working toward the shared goal of seeing the world's best athletes representing their respective countries at the LA 28 games, and it's great to see that enthusiasm coming from the athletes as well. The U.S., Dominican Republic, and Venezuela have already secured spots in the 2028 Olympic baseball tournament. The latter two clubs qualified during the WBC, and the U.S. has an automatic bid because they're the host country. The last three spots will be determined at upcoming tournaments. So I don't know. I thought one, that, I love the fact that they would consider, and because the NHL did that this past Olympics, where they basically stopped playing for a while to allow, guys from, various countries participate for Canada and Team USA, which I thought was great. Mm-hmm. You had, in some cases, guys that were teammates that were that were going against each other.
Sure.
And I thought that was cool. Yeah. So, the Major League Baseball wants players who skip the Olympics for injury to do so only if they're comfortable sitting out until August. And I don't understand why that's such a big deal of making them sit until August the 3rd.
Well, you're making a punishment.
Yeah.
You're saying if you don't compete in the Olympics and you're asked to do so, then you can't say, well, I'm banged up. I don't want to do it because everybody would be just faking an injury.
Yeah, but even
right? And so they're saying, okay, well, if you're going to be injured, we're going to make sure you're out for a while.
Yeah, so I guess
it's a punishment. It's like a suspension.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if that's fair, right?
I don't think they should be able to make guys play.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is that if you're injured and you're ready to come back when the season resumes, you should be able to come back when the season resumes as opposed to sitting out until August the 3rd.
It's like some of the frustration that you could hear it in John Smoltz's voice last night about some of these young guys. I think he was speaking specifically about Miz and Schlittler that weren't pitching last night, that are some of the new stars of baseball. And I think he's frustrated that, just for those guys, whether it was especially for those guys, their first time, but the schedule didn't work out right where they had to pitch late. And so they weren't, they pitched Saturday or Sunday or whatever. They're not going to turn around again and pitch on Tuesday. And so whether that's their decision or whether that's the team's decision, whatever, I think he's frustrated that, there were some stars that didn't play last night that he really would have liked to have seen. I mean, maybe we could have had 50 strikeouts instead of 54 if those two had played. Okay. And Paul Skeens, another one.
Another one that didn't play.
Three of the biggest young star pitchers. Yeah. I mean, so I think, we've talked about it with like the superstars don't want to do the dunk contest anymore or whatever. The superstars don't do the home run derby that much. That's why it was great that Harper and Schwarber both did it.
Yeah.
Okay, but the superstars don't do it that much. And so it seems like Major League Baseball is saying we want our superstars in the Olympics. But I just don't know. It's not in their contract to play in the Olympics. I don't feel like they should be suspended if they don't want to play. But then again, tell me who it is that won't play for the U.S.
Right.
Because I'll know not to like that guy.
Or Venezuela or any of the other teams that are...
I don't care about those guys. I just care about the U.S. guys.
I don't imagine that there are going to be a lot of great players that don't want to play for their team.
Yeah, if Aaron Judge doesn't want to play for the U.S., I'm going to be bothered.
Yeah.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.